How you guys doing? This is Andrew at FloryPB, and this is our product announcement video for the 2K2 boards, for the 2K2 and Classic Intimidators. This has been a very long road to get to this point with this board. I started developing this at the end of last year, and it's taken an entire year plus to get to a point where I'm happy with the product. And there's a lot of stuff that has to happen to bring a 2K2 style marker into the DM4 or the DM socket style family. And mainly the biggest problem was it wasn't these frames. The LCD frames with the membrane pads, these aren't really the problem frames for this style board, because I need two momentary buttons, and this has two momentary buttons. Even one momentary button works. But the LED frames, or the GZ frames, they're the problem for this style of board, because it's just an on-off switch, and they don't have the buttons to interact with the board. So that was my major hang-up building this, because it has this older style slide switch, which isn't crazy. It's a slide switch, and I cannot buy a button or a momentary slide switch that fits in this location. So I had to end up making one. I made a button to replace the slide switch if you for a couple different reasons. If you have an LED frame, or if you have a GZ frame and you don't have two membrane buttons, you're going to need to use the provided button for that. Or if you have a Timmy and your membrane pad is broken, I don't want to leave you high and dry because your membrane pad, because your membrane pad is broken. I would like to let you still use your marker. So I'm including this button with every single one. And basically, this button is printed, focus. It's made with two circuit boards with a small momentary button soldered to the bottom board. Nope. Can you guys see me? Focus. Alright. With a momentary button soldered to the bottom board, and I'm using a 3D printed button that extends out so it feels right. So it feels right when it's in the grip frame, and I have that soldered together with two PCB pins that solder through both boards, and they're the pin connections for the wires. So this ends up being a clicky little button. And the other thing that I had to do was, I knew I had to do it, was this is only a 2-color LED that comes with the stock setup, so I need to make my own full array LED setup that plugs into the board. Basically the way this is going to work is, if you're going to run the membrane pad, which I do suggest if you have one, because it's going to save your battery running the membrane pad. But if you don't, you're going to take this switch and this, and you're going to tuck them up into the frame on top of the solenoid area. Then you'll run the new LED into its position, sneak it underneath the hose, all that crap, run it into its position, and install the button where the switch was, which goes in there just like that. I'm going to provide screws for that, and it's, you know, clicky down there, which is good. And if you put the button and put it through there, that's what it's going to kind of look like. Is what it looks like. It sticks out far enough so you can actually get a click on it, which was a big concern of mine, and that's why I had to go with this 3D printed button on top of the actual button, was just to give you something that you could, you know, actually interact with well, instead of having some real dick-ass little button in there you had to like dig around for. It makes it easy to click, which was, you know, part of the development of this board was getting this interface made in a way where I can make this affordably so this thing doesn't cost a ton of money and easy enough to use and work with. So that was a big hurdle we overcame with this particular board. And besides that, this is my bad example marker because the eyes don't work on this one, but the eyes work on these, just not this board. I have 3 sets of pins up here. The 2 set here, the 2 JSTs, this is for the optional switch if you want to use the button. The 4 pin next to it, this is for your new multi-array LED, your RGB LED that's going to be used for your interfacing with the marker. And then the 3 pack on the end, that's for DMIs. Very rare use case, obviously, but I know that, you know, like an HK Angel, I'm not sure if they used Intimidator eyes for that, or did they just use Intimidator boards and throw on a 3mm eye like a DMI. So I'm putting that there as an option for retrofits if you're doing a retrofit into a marker, because these are not big boards, and it was semi-popular back in the day to put 2K2 WASP boards and other stuff. So real off use case, but it's available in case you do not want to use Intimidator eyes. You have an option to use DMIs with stuff if they fit or whatever you're doing. And it's going to interface just with these. So when I do an actual install video, I'll explain how that works, but once you plug it in, you get to pick which way is the way you want it to go, just by switching that over. And well, let me grab a battery real quick. I don't know which one's which right now. There you go. Literally, as I've been screwing with this membrane pad has given up the ghost, because if I just jump it, turn the marker on, turn the eyes off, turn them on, and turn it off again. So literally, this membrane pad has seen its last, and that is why I wanted to include the button with these. Was for this incident, I don't know how easy these are to get anymore. I might have to start making membrane pads soon as well, but we'll see on that one. Let me grab a classic that I've tested this in as well, that I know has a working membrane pad, and I'll get right back to you on that one. So I just grabbed the grip from the classic with the working membrane pad. And turns on. Eyes. Turns off. Hit the trigger. Go to programming mode. And that works, and you can turn it on, and you know your switch kills it at that point. So it kills all power to the battery, and that would be the optimal way to run this, because it's going to give you the best battery life with this marker. Alternatively, if your memory pad isn't working right, you can switch over to the button. And then you just leave the switch on and tuck it into the frame. and then run the button. It's on. The board has been, I'm my newest code that I've been running. It's no different as far as the code goes, but I've combined both my single button and my double button markers. So just one quick tap and it turns the eyes off. A little tricky to get the touch right on that. Turns the eyes back on. Let's turn the marker off by holding it. So it has both codes in it. It has the single button, so you could use the power button for everything, or you can use the I button for the eyes. It's easier to use the I button when you have one, but it just gives you versatility. If one button's broken on the membrane pad but not the other, just flip this so that is the power button and you can still use the membrane pad. If both buttons are broken, I give you a button. If both work, great, you have everything. If you have an LED or a G7 2K2 style Intimidator Gen 2, you are still accommodated with this setup. So that's the new board. Fits. That was also a tricky thing, was getting this big DM chip in this to fit, and we got that to fit. So it's been a lot of time developing this board, but I'm very happy with where it is. I'm happy with its operation, and just want to give you guys the highlight. You'll see the videos and the sales of these happen within the next couple weeks. We're getting everything together. I have all the manuals printed. I have most of the boards made. I got to make more switches and more LED pigtails to get the rest of them made. For that, the packaging's ready, and we should be ready to go sometime late January with the sales of these for the 2024 season. All right, guys, that's it for this one. This is Andrew at FloryPB. Thank you, guys.